Headquarters. This is Politics Today with Jackie Kingston.
Early voting opens on Monday. We're previewing the midterm elections before you go to cast your ballot. And we're taking a look at record enrollment for one of our local school districts, what that means for education here on the High Plains. Hi everyone, good morning. Thanks for being here on Politics Today. Early voting starts Monday, tomorrow. We're just weeks away from the election that will set the course for the country for the next 2 years. Both Democrats and Republicans are hitting the campaign trail for the final stretch. Politics Today's Anna Warnicke kicking off our show today in Washington with more on what issues are dominating those conversations.
The countdown to November 8th is on.
Vote, vote.
President Joe Biden focused on abortion rights during a campaign speech in Washington on Tuesday, promising voters a major bill if Democrats keep control of Congress.
If we do that, here's the promise I make to you and the American people. The first bill that I will send to the Congress will be to codify Roe v. Wade.
In contrast, Republicans are hoping to take back control of Congress this November by keeping the economy and inflation at the top of voters' minds.
They're taking us down a bad path.
Florida Republican Senator Rick Scott told voters in Tampa on Tuesday that the Biden administration is to blame for high prices.
If you like paying more for everything, you should vote Democrat because Joe Biden did that. If you like paying double for gas, you should vote Democrat because Joe Biden did that.
The job market is strong. The labor force is strong.
But White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre says the economy is doing better because of President Biden's policies.
He's working on the economy every day.
Challenger for Texas governor making a stop here in Amarillo on Thursday night. It was part of candidate Beto O'Rourke's statewide drive to get out the vote. O'Rourke recently wrapped up a 20-campus college tour to help register young voters. Here's what he had to say to me when we caught up with him at the rally on Thursday.
Yes. You can't govern in a vacuum, right? How do you plan to build consensus with those who are campaigning right now on issues that are contrary to what you believe? If you're elected, how do you build that consensus?
The beauty of this democracy is it only works when those who don't see eye to eye on every issue are able to get around the table and find some common ground and reach consensus. I served in Congress for 6 years, every day in the minority, so the only way I could deliver for veterans in El Paso, for example, was to find common cause with Republican allies, write that legislation together, got it signed into law by Donald Trump. I don't agree with him on much, but we could agree on this much. And we were able to expand mental health care access for veterans in Texas and across the country. As governor, I'll bring that same approach to the job. We won't always agree on everything, but there's a lot like world-class public schools or expanding Medicaid and opening up more options for mental health care access that most of us, Republican and Democrat, can agree on. Let's start where there is agreement and move this state forward.
And of course, if Governor Abbott comes to town, I hope to have the chance to talk with him before the election as well. It's the highest court in Texas, but there's been little talk about the justices' races for Texas Supreme Court this November, unless some of your best friends are lawyers, might not be on your radar. From abortion to immigration policies, these are the sort of recent cases that have or are set to go before the Texas Supreme Court. The court has 9 justices. This November, Texans will vote on 3 open justice spots. Scott McCown, a UT School of Law professor, says your average voter can do some digging on justices' policies on nonpartisan sites like the League of Women Voters.
Well, these are really important decisions. There's in the Supreme Court, there's questions about who wins and who loses, consumers against businesses, businesses against businesses, important cases on civil rights, important cases on government and administrative law.
The Texas Supreme Court justices are elected in staggered terms every 2 years. Supreme Court justices can leave in the middle of a term, and if that happens, the governor will appoint a new justice. Here's a look at some of the important election dates that you need to know. Put them on your calendar. Early voting begins on Monday. It's one of the many times I'm going to say that during this show today. Registered voters who plan to vote by mail must apply to do so by October 28th. Your ballot must be postmarked no later than November 8th, which is the day of the general election. Canyon Independent School District seeing record enrollment this year. With multiple new campuses opening, school administrators say they were ready for the increase. Politics Today's Princess Bryant has more.
This year, Canon ISD saw historical enrollment numbers reaching over 11,000 students. Canon ISD Superintendent Dr. Daryl Flushy said this is about a 360 student increase from last year across the district.
We were growing 2 to 2.5% for our enrollment year after year, and then COVID came, and then our enrollment stayed pretty steady, not growing quite as much. And then coming out of COVID, then we had a 300 student growth last year, and then we're at 360 student growth this year.
This year saw the opening of West Plains High School, and Dr. Flushy says that this high school was built to help the increase of students at Randall High School.
I think the new school's opening up created some excitement in the community, and when we had open house at West Plains this summer, there were maybe 2,000 to 3,000 people who toured through that school, and then following that tour in July, we had several requests to transfer into the school district and into that school. So that probably affected our enrollment a little bit.
He adds that West Plains High School contains 80% of students that were originally zoned to Randall High School.
With the enrollment at Randall High School so far exceeding the capacity of the building, that was the reason why West Plains High School was needed, rather than adding on to Randall High School and make it a huge school.
Dr. Flushy adds that enrollment is looked at in January and February to predict the amount of students that will be attending the next year. He adds this creates a plan for staff and what campuses can expect in the next year.
When we opened school, we were able to have teachers in every location where we needed some teachers, and there were some adjustments that occurred in early August where we anticipated enrollment to be higher in one place or another, or it grew exceedingly high.
In Cannon, Princess Bryant, KMR Local 4 News.
Dr. Flushy says sports and marching band are benefiting from the increased enrollment because more students are interested in joining. Last week at the Amarillo ISD regular board meeting, members approved the purchase of new vehicles for AISD police. Officials say the plan is to buy up to 5 police vehicles and hire more officers. APD Police Chief Paul Borquin says the vehicles will be used for Amarillo ISD police officers to cover the elementary school campuses. He also says this will enable them to touch every campus in AISD with a police officer throughout the day.
These officers will greatly impact the safety and security of our elementary campuses. They will have the opportunity to build relationships with kids in our elementary campuses. I hope that they can build that trust factor.
Chief Borquin says the plan is to hire 45 officers and buy all the equipment that they need. An Amarillo Navy veteran sharing his story about serving aboard the USS Guadalcanal. Coming up, how his experience relates to the space race. I'm Jackie Kingston. You're watching Politics Today from your local election headquarters. You likely know Howard Smith as an Amarillo City Council member or local realtor, but he's also a Navy veteran. Politics Today's Kaylee Green hears from Smith about his service and his important role in helping the U.S. win the space race. That story as we honor hometown heroes.
After Howard Smith graduated from Amarillo High, he attended Baylor University before joining the Navy.
I had studied math and physics in college, and so I was following the space program all along.
But he never dreamed he would aid the Apollo 9 astronauts after their splashdown.
I was in 3.5 years, and I was in the supply corps. At first, I became an officer, went to officer candidate school, 18 weeks. And then supply school was 6 months. Supply in the Navy takes care of feeding everybody, keeping up with repair parts for the ship, and I was on a helicopter carrier.
On March 13, 1969, the USS Guadalcanal was responsible for picking up the Apollo 9 crew in the Atlantic Ocean after a successful mission. And Smith was in charge of their first traditional meal since the launch.
They hadn't eaten for 10 days, regular food. So we made a menu of whatever they might want, and they could choose to pick what they wanted. Then we had a big celebration that evening with all the officers on board the ship. We had about 100 media on board for that.
Then, just a few months later, Apollo 11 landed on the moon.
I can say in jest, they'd have never made it to the moon without me. Just kidding.
Smith says it was pure luck that his ship was responsible for picking up the Apollo 9 crew, but he says he would do his time in the Navy all over again for that experience.
I thought about writing a letter saying I want to go around the moon now. I'm ready to do it.
Has all the training he needs. Smith says the USS Guadalcanal also played a small part in the Apollo 8 mission. The ship was stationed east of Florida in case astronauts had to abort the mission in the first few minutes, but the launch was successful. James McDivitt, who commanded the Apollo 9 mission, passed away earlier last week. He was 93 years old. Washington lawmakers have announced a huge bipartisan investment in mental health services all across the country. Coming up, a look at how that money will be used. Last week, bipartisan lawmakers came together to announce a large investment in mental health services across the country. They say it'll make a huge difference throughout the U.S. to increase mental health resources and substance use disorder treatments. Politics Today Washington correspondent Basil John reports on that announcement.
Tuesday, the Department of Health and Human Services announced investments into local providers called Certified Community Behavioral Health Clinics.
CCBHCs are here to stay, and we are making a major commitment of $300 million to make that possible.
HHS Secretary Javier Becerra and Michigan Democratic Senator Debbie Stabenow say the funding will provide much-needed care.
We are finally going to treat healthcare above the neck the same as healthcare below the neck. Not through grants that stop and start, but through healthcare.
10 states received the initial grants for clinics providing a range of services to address mental health and substance use problems. Missouri Republican Senator Roy Blunt says the goal is to boost access to those services.
Places where you can go 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, that had the kind of staff that the law requires you to have.
There are now more than 400 CCBHCs operating in the U.S., and more states are expected to award up to $1 million for one-year planning grants, as long as they meet federal standards.
This funding provides the ongoing investment in these behavioral health clinics and helps them continue to provide the broad range of services that they offer to communities.
Both Blunt and Stabenow agree there is still work to be done and want Congress to make this level of funding permanent. Reporting in Washington, I'm Basil John.
More medical news for you this morning. As of yesterday, hearing aids are now available to buy over the counter across the U.S. Last week. It's part of a recent FDA rule change that allows adults to purchase hearing aids without a prescription or an exam. Politics Today's Anna Warnicki is in Washington with details.
Starting now, Americans can buy hearing aids directly off store shelves for less.
Whether it's Walgreens or CVS or Walmart or Sam's Club, you'll be able to either go online to their website or walk into a store and buy a pair of hearing aids for maybe a few $100s.
The White House says for decades, Americans needed an exam and a prescription from an audiologist to purchase hearing aids. Now, under the FDA rule change, Americans can buy the devices at retail stores without seeing a doctor first. White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre says it's a big win for consumers. The FDA estimates average savings of $3,000 per pair.
That's thousands of dollars going back into the pockets of Americans.
Dr. Sarah Sidlowski says more Americans can now access the device who need it. But she warns that seeing a medical professional is still important to make sure the hearing aid you buy is the right fit.
This is a new way to access a device, but it does not include the care and the services that an audiologist can provide.
A couple of other notes here. The over-the-counter devices are not cleared for children or people with severe hearing loss. Up next, a payroll mistake could cost Texas military members serving in Operation Lone Star thousands in back taxes. Next here on Politics Today, reaction from an anonymous soldier. Thousands of troops are on the hook for a mistake they didn't make, and it could cost them hundreds, if not thousands, of dollars. The Texas Military Department made a payroll error, and guardsmen who were on the border for Operation Lone Star are going to have to pay back federal taxes that never came out of their paychecks. Politics Today's Jayla Washington spoke with a soldier who wants accountability. He didn't want to be identified, worried he could lose his job, but he did verify who he is through his pay stubs from Operation Lone Star.
It's a mission that one soldier who wants his identity protected says he feels he went into blind.
They say, hey, just letting you know, some of us might go out to the border for up to 4 months.
That 4 months turned into nearly a year for this soldier.
It was rough just seeing like people walking across barefoot, nearly naked with their kids.
While on the border from October 2021 to August this year, the Operation Lone Star Guardsman tells me he didn't get a pay stub for several months starting out.
Once we got pay stubs, they simply had our net amount listed on there and nothing else.
The Texas Military Department now admits a payroll error, saying the checks withheld too little in federal taxes. TMD says the mistake will impact 96% of its service members, a part of Operation Lone Star. And it's a problem they became aware of back in July this year.
There's nothing else that's been released to the soldiers. It's just a lot of all of us hitting each other's phone line and saying, hey, it looks like we're going to have some issues. Don't know what they are yet.
TMD also told the Texas Tribune soldiers will start getting paid once a month instead of twice to fix the problem starting in January, though it's not clear how long that'll last.
I just bought the house. I'm expecting my first child.
For you, it's about accountability, correct? What would that look like for you moving forward?
They need to explain from beginning to end what happened, and at the end, they need to tell us next steps that they're taking to simply tell us what we're going to owe.
Our Austin team did reach out for an update from the Texas Military Department on Wednesday, but we haven't yet heard back. The soldier they spoke with wants officials to be transparent, as they've known about this issue for months with little, they say, communication. Some kids in Texas are coming home from school with DNA test kits thanks to a 2021 state law. It's causing anxiety for some parents in the wake of the Uvalde school shooting, but as Politics Today's Monica Madden reports, the law was intended for something entirely different.
I mean, my stomach just kind of dropped.
Like any parent, Dallas mother Tracy Walder wants her 7-year-old to be safe at school. But she says the fact that kids are being sent home with DNA kits is rubbing her the wrong way.
No one wants to think about taking their child's DNA because they may get killed at school.
Especially after the Uvalde shooting.
We are treating, in a way, schools like war zones. When I served overseas, my DNA was on file.
In 2021, Republican and Democratic lawmakers passed the Child ID Act, requiring the Texas Education Agency to provide identification kits to K through 6th grade families. Parents do not have to use them.
It's up to the families to decide how they would like to use the kits.
One Central Texas superintendent says his district is getting a lot of questions about privacy.
Not asking for it, they don't return the kits to us. They keep it in the privacy of their home.
The bill's author says it has nothing to do with identifying children after a possible shooting.
The original intent was to aid law enforcement in recovering children that were missing. Many times parents don't have enough information to actually help law enforcement.
Although parents like Walder think it sends the wrong message, the senator hopes the kits will give peace of mind to parents.
We all get those Amber Alerts. Anything that can help recover the children.
So pricing on those kits, each kit costs $15. The state estimates it'll cost $4.5 million to give those kits out this year and another $1 million for next year. Stay with us. We're going to wrap things up here on Politics Today right after this. A Tascosa High School speech and debate teacher is awarded Teacher of the Year by the Texas Speech Communication Association. This happened this week. They say Ryan Lovell has worked tirelessly to serve his students and the AISD speech and debate program and devotes much of his personal time to serving speech education efforts all across the state. Lovell is one of several Amarillo ISD speech teachers who have won the TSCA Teacher of the Year award. Congratulations to him. Don't forget, you can follow along with us on social media. I'm on Facebook. You can find me there. You can also follow me on Twitter, Jackie Kingston plus the number 1. You know I love your feedback. And don't forget about the election that's coming up, the midterm election. That's happening November 8th. But early voting starts tomorrow, Monday. Make a plan to vote. Register voters who plan to vote by mail have to do so by October 28th. Your ballot has to be postmarked no later than November 8th, which is the actual day for the general election. Another update that we want to leave you with this morning, we didn't want to go through this entire show without telling you this. We're still, at the time of this taping, waiting for a decision from Judge Souter in the trial for the Amarillo Civic Center, the lawsuit between Alex Fairley and the city of Amarillo. We're continuing to monitor for when that decision comes down throughout the weekend. We will have the latest for you on our website, myhighplains.com. There, you'll also find your polling locations for early voting and more resources as we head into the midterm election. Thank you, as always, for being here. Thanks for spending part of your Sunday morning with us. We hope you have a great week. Again, make a plan to vote. Go get it done. You never know what could happen. Vote early. We'll see you back here soon.